Volume 13. The Fourth Spirit Ability. Chapter 85. Fragrance Attracting Spirit Beasts. Dean Flender, I actually have a solution, however it is quite dangerous. Tang San suddenly put forward, his voice drawing everyone's attention. Flender grumpily said, "Why didn't you say so earlier? What is it?" Tang San said, "Do you still remember the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure that I used 2 days ago to suppress the poisonous fog? As an immortal treasure herb, it can be considered to be one of nature's rarest gems. If I were to expose it to the surroundings, just its aura alone should attract the attention of powerful spirit beasts. However, as such, it would be impossible for me to guess what manner of beasts it could bring. It is quite possible that it could summon an exceedingly high-quality spirit beast that we cannot hope to defeat. Furthermore, the quantity it can summon will not be low either." Hearing this, Flender realized it wasn't because Tang San purposely withheld a solution earlier, but because this solution was truly far too dangerous. In the worst-case scenario, it was possible that they could face total annihilation. Even though Flender, Zhao Wuji, and Lu Erlong were all rank 70+ spirit masters, some especially powerful spirit beasts could easily destroy them. Just like the Titan giant ape they encountered in the Stardew Great Forest, a terrifying existence that even a titled Douluo dare not easily provoke. "Co Gang, what do you think?" Flender posed the question to Grandmaster. Grandmaster pondered for a moment and said, "Little San's idea is not necessarily unusable. It all depends on how we approach it. Little San, can you still find the lair of Douluo?" Hearing Grandmaster's question, Tang San's eyes immediately lit up. His inner thought progression closely mirrored Grandmaster's, so even though Grandmaster had not revealed his idea, he already understood. "Master, you mean to use the venom left behind by the old freak to protect us?" Grandmaster smiled faintly and nodded. Right now everyone else was still baffled, not understanding what this pair of master and disciple were talking about. Tang San at Grandmaster's indication explained that because this sunset forest housed poison Douluo Dalu's private hideout, the perimeter near the location of the ice and fire yin-yang well was protected by Dalu's poisonous formation. That poison formation came from Dalu's horrifyingly potent venom abilities. Even a 10,000-year spirit beast wouldn't dare take a step past the boundary. Of course, such a poison posed no challenge to Tang San. Even if Douluo had not already given him the antidote, he could still easily produce an antidote himself or rely on the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure to suppress the poison. By exposing the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure outside of the poison formation, they could attract many spirits beasts, and should at any time the beasts become too powerful, they could retreat back into the protection of the poison and no longer fear being overwhelmed. When they wanted to leave, they could simply exit the sunset forest in a different direction. Now that they had a method, everyone immediately set out for the ice and fire yin-yang well under Tang San's directions. The ice and fire yin-yang well was located in the center of the sunset forest, equidistant to the edges of the forest, and since the Shrek Academy group had already been inside the sunset forest for some time, it took them less than half a day to reach the outside perimeters Daluo's poison formation. Tang San with a serious expression passed out 2 pills to each person. The poison the old freak used for protection here is extremely insidious. Although it will affect spirit masters to a lesser degree compared to spirit beasts, if your spirit energy is less than 70 ranks, a single step inside the protected ground and your death will be assured. First take one of the pills, it will ensure your safety for a day. Tomorrow at the same time take the second pill. I believe 2 days should provide us ample time. Finished saying this, Tang San began the preparations. He first entered the ice and fire yin-yang well alone and retrieved some of the fertile mud from the banks where the 2 sides of the well flowed together. After that he returned and dug out a hole outside of the poison formation and placed the mud within before carefully planting the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure on top. The aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure was different from Xiao Wu's yearning heartbroken red that would never wilt. Once it had left the wishful 100 treasure purse, if it didn't receive enough nature's spiritual nourishment, it will slowly wilt. Thankfully, the soil from the side of the ice and fire yin-yang well had sufficient energy to nourish it. Otherwise Tang San would never let it touch regular soil. Having completed the temporary planting of the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure, Tang San took out a small jade bottle from the wishful 100 treasure purse. As he removed the stopper from the bottle, a thick cloud of briny stench wallowed out, immediately filling the air. Even the fragrance of the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure couldn't suppress its terrible smell. "Little San, what is that thing? The smell is killing me." Dai Mabai, who always loved cleanliness, immediately dodged far away when he smelled it. Tang San smiled slightly, and thought to himself, "Boss Dai, how can you possibly know that this liquid with its unbearable stench was synthesized by me using more than 10 kinds of precious ingredients? Its rarity is almost comparable to that of the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure." He very carefully tilted the bottle above the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure, allowing a single drop of black liquid to fall onto its stamen. Tang San then carefully resealed the jade bottle and returned it into his 100 treasure purse. An extraordinary scene unfolded. The aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure's stamen began emitting a dense of purple gas, its originally gentle fragrance immediately growing more powerful. The smell of the flower was no longer limited to within its area of effect, instead started to quickly permeate the surrounding air and beyond. Even Dai Mabai, who had evacuated the area previously to escape the stench, could feel perfumed air tickling his nose. Tang San explained to his group, "The medicine I used on the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure will nourish it, causing it to temporarily lose its poison suppression effect for about 2 hours. However, within this time its scent will rapidly spread to a minimum of 10 li. This should be more than enough to attract some spirit beasts. After all, the scent belongs to one of the exceedingly rare heavenly treasures. There should no beasts that wouldn't like it." The rest of the group couldn't help but be amazed at Tang San's application of medicine. Of course, they all attributed this to the half-year Tang San spent studying under Douluo Dalu. Nourishing the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure and attracting spirit beasts, for Tang San, this could be considered 2 birds with 1 stone. As the gentle scent slowly saturated the air, the Shrek Academy party also became increasingly alert. The 3 with the weakest fighting power, Oscar, Ning Rongrong and Grandmaster, were positioned closest to the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure. The rest are around them, carefully observing in all directions. Having finished preparing the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure, Tang San did not immediately join his friends in surveying the surroundings but rather walked around the flower a distance away. The scent produced by the divine flora held great attraction to all spirit beasts regardless of their cultivation level. In order to prevent the spirit beast with too low of a cultivate level to disturb them and disrupt their planning, Tang San prepared his own layer of protection via poison. His poison formation clearly wasn't as severe as the one created by Douluo Dalu, but it should be effective in filtering the spirit beasts. According to Tang San's calculations, spirit beasts that had less than 2,000 years of cultivation should not be able to easily enter. Spirit beasts were different from humans. Their senses were much sharper. Especially towards dangers such as poison, their judgment was rarely wrong. Once they discovered that the poison was not something they could resist, they would never risk their lives. With the assistance of this poison-protected ground, the Shrek Academy's group of people could save a lot of energy. They only need to choose targets among the sufficiently cultivated spirit beasts. The stage had been set, all that was left was to tighten their formation and wait. Even though this hunting method could easily attract more powerful spirit beasts, it was equally dangerous. Whether the spirit beasts that came were too powerful or too weak, neither would satisfy Tang San and the others' requirements. As a result, no matter how you put it, luck held a certain part. The lure of the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure's effect was even bigger than Tang San had expected. Once they have finished setting up, less than a cup of tea's time had passed before the first spirit beast appeared. A low rumbling roar and a faint stench reached them. The trees to their left started to sway, as if brushed by a gale. Cloud follows the dragon and wind follows the tiger. It should be a spirit beast of the tiger family. Everyone be careful, Grandmaster calmly deduced. Just as Grandmaster finished speaking, a gorgeous yet ferocious tiger burst through the thickets. The tiger was covered from head to toe in murky black fur, the only exception being the king character on its forehead patterned in white. The length of its body was over 3 meters long and stood at 1.50 meter shoulder height. Although it was quite large, it was nevertheless very nimble. Even before anyone had a clear look at the beast, it already pounced towards them. Its movement like a trail of shadows, and its aim was precisely the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure being protected behind everyone. Begin combat, Tang San roared, and without withholding any spirit power raised his arm, releasing a spider web restraint. Due to his spirit power increase, his limit had now increased to 4 spider web restraints. Spirit beasts from their outer appearance can be seen that generally those with cultivation less than 10,000 years would increase in size the more they cultivate, but those that have surpassed 10,000 years instead will start decreasing in the size the more powerful they grow. Of course, there are some exceptions, but other than spirit beasts that are especially powerful or weak, most do follow this development path. The black tiger before them could easily be identified as one that has cultivated between 3,000 to 5,000 years, perfectly suitable. Tang San without hesitation chose to fight rather than flee. The green light expanded in a flash. Sometimes having too fast of a speed is not always good, such as the case for this spirit beast phantom tiger that only has the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure in its eyes. The phantom tiger's horrific speed and combat prowess was well known. It can be considered to be among the strongest spirit beasts. It was also incredibly aggressive and will not hesitate to fight anyone that dares intrude in its territory to the death. Because its speed was incomparable, even other spirit beasts that had achieved similar years of cultivation ordinarily would not seek to fight it. Seeing Tang San unleash spider web restraint at the phantom tiger, its body flickered strangely, and the originally one phantom tiger suddenly turned into 3. The one in the spider web restraint faded away unseen like a mirage, while the other 2 advanced even faster. Phantom tiger's innate ability, shadow doppelganger. Dai Mabai roared deeply, 4 spirit rings simultaneously flashing up from below. When the phantom tiger appeared, his body already swiftly swelled up, and now watching the phantom tiger dash forward, he went head to head with it without the slightest hesitation. A pair of tiger paws slapped forward, and from his mouth a white light jetted out, already releasing white tiger light wave. Spirit power rising substantially increased the might of spirit abilities, and Dai Mabai's goal was also only to block the phantom tiger's charge. In the flash of white light, another phantom tiger disappeared. Without a doubt, Dai Mabai's target had also been a shadow. Ma Hongjun and Xiao Wu went up simultaneously, preparing a cooperative attack on the phantom tiger's true body. Its enormous body flashed with black light, once again separating 2 silhouettes. By now it was already in front of everyone, the 3 forms simultaneously charging at the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure from different angles. With the previous lesson in mind, right now nobody actually knew which form was after all the real phantom tiger. At this moment, purple golden light flashed out of Tang San's eyes, his gaze sweeping, already shouting, "The left one is real." Careful, Zhuqing. Under the gaze of purple demon eye there was nowhere for the phantom tiger to hide. Even though Tang San's eyes still couldn't be called piercing eyes, after reaching the mustard seed stage, his eyes could even distinguish energy attribute differences, and could naturally differentiate the aura fluctuations around the 3 phantom tigers. Right now, the only one confronting the real body was Zhu Zhuqing, and behind her back were Ning Rongrong and Oscar. This phantom tiger was undoubtedly clever, choosing the weakest direction to attack from. Flender, Lu Erlong and Zhao Wuji were all already waiting for action with their strength stored up. If the Shrek 7 devils were unable to withstand the attack of this phantom tiger, they would act immediately. The Shrek 7 devils had cooperated for so long that the tacit understanding between them had long ago already reached a certain boundary. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing in danger, the gold-purple light in Tang San's eyes suddenly intensified, everyone seeing a glaring light flash past. That phantom tiger hissed sharply, and its forward momentum immediately slowed down somewhat, and even the other two disappeared like smoke. Zhu Zhuqing very clearly understood that there was no space to dodge behind her, and advanced rather than retreating, going up to meet the phantom tiger's charge. It was also now that 3 streams of warmth entered her body from behind, strength, agility as well as spirit power simultaneously upgrading substantially, immediately letting her conditions surpass her peak. Hell Rush Stab unleashed, Zhu Zhuqing's delicate body directly struck the phantom tiger, the keen blades at her fingertips ruthlessly flitting across the phantom tiger's throat, leaving behind several deep cuts. The pain woke up the phantom tiger from Tang San's mental attack, and with a fierce roar, black light rushed out from its whole body and it distorted, inconceivably shifting sideways, just dodging away from Zhu Zhuqing's follow-up Hell-100 claws. However, this brief moment's obstruction was already enough. Dai Mabai's tall figure already charged over from the side. The tiger stripes all over his overbearing form had all turned golden, and snarling, golden light burst out. With his body as the center, countless fist-sized golden spheres of light locked onto the phantom tiger, flocking towards it. It was precisely the 4th spirit ability Dai Mabai obtained not long ago, White Tiger Meteor Shower. In terms of burst attack power, perhaps this 4th spirit ability of Dai Mabai's couldn't compare to Fatty's Phoenix Cry Sky Strike, but its greatest feature was that it could lock in on the opponent. Once the target was locked in, all the White Tiger meteors formed from spirit power would launch as a concentrated volley. The entire attack power could be concentrated on one opponent, and they could also disperse to attack multiple opponents. The attack power contained by each ball was equal to 1/10 of Dai Mabai's spirit power, which showed how powerful growth potential this spirit ring gave him. He could launch more than 100 meteors. If the phantom tiger hadn't suffered Tang San's mental attack, it could still have used its doppelganger ability to as much as possible of Dai Mabai's attack, but right now its mind was injured by Purple Demon Eye, and it was temporarily unable to fully use doppelganger. Helplessly, it could only stiffly resist Dai Mabai's attack with its own body. Black light flashed out and transformed into a black light cover that enveloped the phantom tiger. Each White Tiger meteor that bombarded it would erupt in a loud explosion, and concentrated booms echoed continuously, ring after ring of golden ripples erupting on that black light. The phantom tiger curled up its body as much as possible, making the area suffering the attack smaller in order to increase its defense. The Shrek 7 Devil's cooperation was so implicit. Ning Rongrong's hand supported the 9 treasure-glazed tile pagoda, already releasing her 3 spirit abilities on the 5 people in charge of attacking. Besides strength and speed amplification, her 3rd spirit ability, also a 1,000-year spirit ability, directly amplified spirit power. In other words, currently the effective spirit power of Tang San and the others was 140% that of normal. The 7 treasure-glazed tile pagoda's effect as the first support spirit had become more and more clear as Ning Rongrong's strength grew. Of course, as a result of the spirit ability effects increasing, the consumption of Ning Rongrong's own spirit power was no doubt immense. Amplifying 3 aspects simultaneously, even though she already possessed 40th ranked spirit power, she could at most persevere for 10 minutes. Intense explosions made the soil turn. The phantom tiger was like an angry wolf in a small boat, constantly rocked by the shocks. But it was indeed powerful. Under this kind of attack it actually still didn't collapse. When the White Tiger meteor shower finally ended, the instant all the explosions finished, suddenly the phantom tiger's curled-up body instantly unfolded. Immediately followed by an immense flash of black light and shadow bursting from within its body, going straight for Zhu Zhuqing. That black light and shadow suddenly condensed in midair into an identical form as the phantom tiger, with even the same size. Terrifying energy fluctuations made the air issue ear-piercing sharp hisses, as if cut open by that black light. The 5 Shrek 7 devils in charge of attack now surrounded the phantom tiger, but its movements were really too fast, and nobody had expected that after just now having endured the white tiger meteor shower bombardment and with blood flowing from its nose and mouth, it could still so quickly issue an all-out attack. There wasn't even enough time for Tang San to release blue-silver grass to save Zhu Zhuqing. A more than 3,000-year spirit beast's all-out attack was terrifying. The phantom tiger's attack capability couldn't be any less than the Pink Queen. The reason it chose to attack Zhu Zhuqing was because behind her was the closest way to the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure. As long as it could break out from this situation, it could not only grab the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure, but also turn and escape. Unfortunately, this phantom tiger still underestimated Zhu Zhuqing's strength and resolve. Confronting this black light and shadow attack, Zhu Zhuqing didn't dodge or escape. Her third spirit ring flashed with purple light, both hands like lightning folding over her head, the claw blades of the 5 fingers on each hand fusing together with astonishing speed, becoming a 1 qi long sharp blade. Black light also rushed out from within Zhu Zhuqing, and her whole body seemed to become a part of that sharp blade, swinging both hands down to meet the black light released from the phantom tiger. This was the 1,000-year spirit ring ability Zhu Zhuqing obtained after reaching the 30th rank, Hell Decapitation. Equally ear-piercing tearing noises resounded. On both sides of the Hell Decapitation, the air distorted like rippling water, clearly splitting open. The black light blade only condensed in a straight line, and just as it struck down it heavily bombarded that phantom tiger's transformed shadow. With the assistance of Ning Rongrung's 9 treasure-glazed tile pagoda, this attack could be said to be Zhu Zhuqing's most powerful attack at present. There was no noise of a collision, only a teeth-ache-inducing grinding sound. In midair, the phantom tiger shadow paused before that sharp Hell Decapitation attack, and the instant the Hell Decapitation struck it was cut in half. But this was after all only the 3rd spirit ability, while this shadow attack could be said to be the phantom tiger's all-out attack. Its body already came charging closely behind. The might of the Hell Decapitation was in the end still by far counteracted by the phantom tiger, far superior energy. Perhaps it was because it was stopped. After that black shadow halted, it immediately used even higher speed to strike at Zhu Zhuqing. And this moment was just after Zhu Zhuqing had just released her full strength attack, the dangerous juncture when new strength had not yet been born. A massive silhouette just like a shield moved across in front of Zhu Zhuqing, and without any fanfare struck out head-on with a white-furred tiger palm. With a loud bang, that massive silhouette swayed once, but still didn't agree to retreat a single step. It was precisely the evil eye-white tiger Dai Mabai. Even though Zhu Zhuqing's Hell Decapitation couldn't completely cut open the phantom tiger's attack, it could still fight for time. The instant he discovered the danger Dai Mabai had rushed over, just in time to shield Zhu Zhuqing, using his tyrannical spirit power to shield her from the remaining attack. In spite of wisps of blood flowing from the corners of his mouth, Dai Mabai immediately revealed his overbearing side. Faced with the phantom tiger's charge, condensing spirit power, he released White Tiger Body Barrier, stiffly blocking the Phantom Tiger's charge. White Tiger collided with Phantom Tiger, a muffled grunt and a sharp hiss echoed practically simultaneously. Dai Mabai staggered back before turning, but that Phantom Tiger was also sent flying by him. A slender figure quietly appeared behind the Phantom Tiger, a pair of slender perfectly straight thighs quietly winding around its neck. Waist bow launching, Xiao Wu completed a graceful backward somersault in the air, and under the powerful strength of her waist bow the phantom tiger's more than 3 meters long body was thrown directly into the air, and slammed back down heavily on the ground. There was an intense boom. In the blink of an eye, the phantom tiger was stunned. A flicker of red light, Ma Hongjun's plump body already since long ago waited where the phantom tiger fell, and the instant Xiao Wu's long legs released it, his right fist also accurately struck the ground. He and the phantom tiger were completely enveloped within distorted air. A resonant phoenix cry once again echoed in the sunset forest, and along with an immense bird of flame soaring up, and the large phantom tiger no longer even whimpered. From Zhu Zhuqing halting the phantom tiger with hell decapitation, to Dai Mabai tyrannically blocking it from the front and sending it flying, Xiao Wu's mid-air soft skill linking up to Ma Hongjun's right hand, restricting it with Phoenix Cry Sky Strike. All of this flowed as smoothly as running water and moving clouds. Hong, the phantom tiger's body covered in flames, fell heavily on the ground. Even if it wanted to crawl, it wouldn't be able to succeed. The red-hot phoenix flames were constantly eroding its body, successively enduring Dai Mabai's white tiger meteor shower and Ma Hongjun's Phoenix Cry Sky Strike. Even though this phantom tiger was any number of times stronger than the Pink Queen, in the end it still suffered life-threatening injuries. Zhuqing, it. Tang San's calm voice promptly echoed. Zhu Zhuqing moved around Dai Mabai, transforming into a series of incomplete shadows, and the instant the phantom tiger drew its last breath, she relied on her Hell Rush stab to make the last attack, her right hand claws thrusting into the phantom tiger's left eye to reach its brain, ending its life. Ma Hongjun opened his mouth wide and inhaled, withdrawing the phoenix flames on the phantom tiger and polluting Zhu Zhuqing's arm, putting a satisfactory period to this time's perfect kill scene. But at this moment, Grandmaster's somewhat impatient voice suddenly reached them. Little San, quickly take back your aromatic silk beauty, immortal treasure. Now that the Shrek 7 devils paid attention, on their side they had dealt with the phantom tiger, but on the other side, Zhao Wuji, Flinder and Lu Erlong were all already fighting. They didn't know when, but during the fight 7 wildly different spirit beasts had appeared, in the process of besieging Flinder's trio. If it wasn't for the trio's immense strength, if even one slipped by them, it wouldn't have been easy for the Shrek 7 devils to handle. Originally, when the phantom tiger appeared and drew the attacks of the Shrek 7 devils, one after another 7 spirit beasts arrived. Tang San's 7 could cope with 5,000 or so years spirit beasts, but if there was another, they might take casualties. Flinder, Lu Erlong and Zhao Wuji immediately went to meet them, helping them block the attacks of later spirit beasts. After this the amount of spirit beasts grew greater and greater, one more powerful than the other. If it went on like this, perhaps even they would be unable to resist. Therefore Grandmaster had Tang San quickly take away the target of these spirit beasts. With just a glance, Tang San already had a grasp of the battle circumstances, and without the slightest hesitation said to Dai Mabai, Mabai, you bring the phantom tiger's corpse and Zhuqing into the poison formation first, let her absorb the spirit ring. The rest of you follow me. Dai Mabai looked distracted a moment, but only hesitated slightly. He naturally had confidence in Tang San and only smiled wryly inside. Zhu Zhuqing's character wasn't too good to begin with, and when further absorbing this tiger-type spirit, how couldn't she become even more like a tigress? However, her spirit was also a cat type, and this phantom tiger excelled at speed, seemingly it was also suitable. Along with Dai Mabai and Zhu Zhuqing first stepping into the poison formation, Tang San took the variety of sausages Oscar handed over. After each of them first at a recovery sausage, they immediately gathered towards Flinder's trio. Strength. This was strength. Watching Flinder's trio fighting, the Shrek 7 devils couldn't keep from inwardly sighing in admiration. Flinder, Lu Erlong and Zhao Wuji were all 3 spirit sage powers over 70th rank. Right now the 3 weren't coordinating at all, only fighting their own battles, but withstood the attacks of those 7 spirit beasts without allowing them to take one step past the line. The reason they didn't cooperate wasn't because they didn't want to, but rather because they couldn't. The might of the trio's spirit abilities was too great, and if they cooperated with each other they would instead cause disturbances, making them unable to bring out their full strength. At such a time, Ning Rongrong showed the effect of the 9 treasure-glazed tile pagoda spirit she had inherited. When the phantom tiger was defeated, she had already stopped assisting Tang San and the others. Right now the 9 treasure-glazed tile pagoda's 3 rings of light flashed once again, becoming 3 lines of light that simultaneously poured into Flender's trio. The more powerful the spirit master, the greater effect the 7 treasure-glazed tile pagoda's support would have. This was something all the Shrek 7 devils knew. Because its support increased by a percentage, the higher the base value, the more powerful the upgrade effect. But when truly used in combat, that reversing heaven and earth terrifying effect still shocked Tang San and the others. The light around Flender's trio simultaneously rose sharply, and the 7 spirit beasts that had previously been constantly attacking them were forced to retreat practically simultaneously. Unfortunately, Ning Rongrong's support could also only continue for a few short breaths. This was still the first time she supported spirit masters with so much higher spirit power than her own. The feeling was as different as black and white compared to supporting the Shrek 7 devils. In just a few seconds she could feel her spirit power draining away, her whole body unspeakably unwell. Retreat into the poison formation, Flender shouted. He had no choice but to make this decision, because he saw more than 10 spirit beasts more rushing out from the forest, their target on their side. The aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure's fragrance was dense and lasted long without scattering, even though right now it had already been withdrawn by Tang San into the 100 treasure purse, the scent was still there. The later arriving spirit beasts unexpectedly had a lot that were over the 10,000-year level. This wasn't something Flender and the others could hold back. The Shrek 7 devils and Grandmaster swiftly retreated into the poison formation Douluo Dalu had set up. Although Flender's trio had lost Ning Rongrong's support, with their strength, even if they couldn't win, they could still run. Perhaps it was because the poison formation had been here for so long, but just as Tang San expected, when the approximately 20 spirit beasts reached its edge, they immediately stopped, and could only make some long-range attacks. Unfortunately, their range was limited, and Flender and the others blocked him a few times as the Shrek Academy party already moved within the poison formation where they couldn't reach. Little San, that aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure of yours really is too effective. Flender looked with some trepidation at the still increasing number of spirit beasts outside. Who said Sunset Forest didn't have formidable spirit beasts? Among the 29 spirit beasts already gathered outside, there were at least 6 or 7 whose strength exceeded 10,000 years, even so much that one spirit beast's cultivation approached 30,000 years. The other spirit beasts were also all over 3,000 years. Even the impulsive Lu Erlong understood that such high-level spirit beasts wasn't something they could match, and could only avoid. Grandmaster's gaze turned to the side where Zhu Zhuqing was already absorbing the spirit ring, and happily said, "At least we didn't waste our strength. That phantom tiger is quite good, whether in ability or attributes, they're both very suitable for Zhuqing." Tang San was now constantly observing the spirit beasts outside. Due to the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure's scent still not scattering, right now the spirit beasts were still pacing outside the poison formation. While absorbing the scent left in the air, they glared like tigers watching prey at their side. At least until the fragrance scattered, they clearly wouldn't leave. Tang San raised the sleeve on his right arm and swiftly removed the flying god claw and handed it to Flender to the side. Flender, puzzled, said, "What is it?" Tang San said, "Dean, there are so many spirit beasts outside, and there are a few that suits us. They don't dare enter the poison formation, so we need to pull them inside to hunt them. With your, Teacher Zhao and Teacher Erlong's strength, pulling them inside shouldn't be any problem." Flender, astonished, said, "Little San, you're joking. Can't you see how many spirit beasts are outside? As soon as we go out, we'll definitely be mobbed. Even we couldn't retreat intact. There really are too many spirit beasts outside. The instant burst power they could produce would give a headache even to title Douluo." Tang San smiled slightly, always planning in advance, pointed to the flying god claw in his hand, saying, "That's why I'm giving you this. With it you basically don't need to go outside. Mabai, little Ao, give your flying god claws for Teacher Zhao and Teacher Erlong to use." Listening to Tang San, Flender was immediately greatly curious. Well, so you kids still had another move. Even though he still didn't understand what Tang San wanted him to do, he could see from Tang San's expression that he held considerable certainty. From the suggestion of setting up by the poison formation, he clearly had already planned ahead, one plan after another. His mind was even more meticulous than the majority of adults. Could it be that Clear Sky Douluo's genes were this good? Tang San helped the curious trio set up the flying god claws on their right arms, then gave them a detailed explanation in its use. Volume 13. The Fourth Spirit Ability. Chapter 86. 1000-Year Unicorn Armored Beast and 10,000-Year Demon Spider. With their curiosity greatly increased, the trio immediately tried using it within the poison formation, unable to keep from gasping in admiration over the elaborate flying god claw. Especially the quality of the material and craftsmanship made him adore it even more. Now Flender didn't need to worry about dealing with the spirit beasts outside. A cunning light flashed in his eyes, with his particular lisping voice saying to Tang San, "I say, little San, how about we strike a deal?" Tang San was astute, his face immediately showing a smiling expression. "No problem. Besides this flying god claw, anything else is fine." Flender immediately choked on his next words. To the side, Lu Erlong looked disdainfully at Flender. "And you call yourself a teacher, you actually want the children's things. Little San, how about this? Teacher Erlong will trade with you. Later you pick any spirit beast outside and tell me, I'll catch it for you, and afterward you make me a flying god claw." As a result of Lu Erlong's figure being different from a man's and being more observant than Flender, she discovered that each flying god claw was different, immediately understanding that this thing was made to size. Flender didn't give up, and without waiting for Tang San to speak up, he couldn't keep from saying, "What you can catch, don't tell me I can't. Little San, I'll also pre-order. I'm also your teacher's old brother, so give me this piece." Looking at Flender, then again at Lu Erlong, Tang San laughed inwardly. Actually, it was no wonder that Flender and Lu Erlong were so interested in this flying god claw. This thing was extremely practical, and what's more, in a key moment it could be a lifesaver. The quality was superb, extremely durable. When worn on the arm it didn't feel cumbersome, no more than a wrist protector. That weight was basically no problem to them. Helplessly, Tang San could only say, "Fine. However, making this thing takes a lot of time. Once this time's Advanced Spirit Master Academy tournament is over, I'll make one for each teacher." Flender laughed out loud. "Fine, then teacher will be impolite. Erlong, Wu Ji, wielder it. Little San, just pick any one of these spirit beasts outside. We'll catch it for you." Grandmaster to the side looked at Flender's appearance of accomplishing lowly ambitions and helplessly shook his head, but also didn't say anything. Tang San said, "Help Rongrong catch one first. I'm in no hurry, I'll still observe a bit." Flender nodded, saying, "That's also fine. Grandmaster, do you see something relatively good for Rongrong's fourth spirit ring?" Tang San was Grandmaster's disciple, and Flender could naturally ask him directly for his opinion, but the others still followed Grandmaster's opinion on the most suitable. Grandmaster's gaze swept across those spirit beasts glaring like tigers outside, and raising his hand he pointed to one among them. Rongrong's previous 3 abilities separately increase speed, strength and spirit power. Then, mainly this fourth spirit ability should increase defense. That 4,000-year or so unicorn armored beast is comparatively suitable. Everyone turned to look in the direction Grandmaster indicated, seeing a spirit beast shaped like a crocodile. Its bulk wasn't especially large, 5 meters long or so, a head with 4 eyes, 4 limbs as thick and solid as buckets. Its most outstanding feature was that its whole body was covered in black plate armor. Each armor plate was roughly palm-sized, appearing extremely thick and durable. Grandmaster lowered his voice. The unicorn armored beast is mainly specialized in close combat. It has enormous strength, and relying on its astonishing defense it can practically ignore most attacks from spirit beasts of similar cultivation age. You 3 had best work together to secure it. Grandmaster's words were naturally convincing, and Flender's trio's gazes simultaneously locked on that unicorn-armored beast. Stepping forward, in the blink the distance had closed to within 30 meters, flying god claws simultaneously shooting out, steel claws spreading in the air. In practically an instant that 1,000-year unicorn-armored beast had been accurately grabbed. Flender and the others only felt a slight jolt at their wrists as the action completed. The tactile quality of the flying god claws was extremely good, just like a real hand spreading open. But, as the maker of the flying god claws, the pupils of Tang San's eyes contracted. Because the 3 flying god claws that landed on the unicorn-armored beast unexpectedly couldn't pierce through its armor. Despite each grabbing an armor plate, they were unable to penetrate the slightest bit. In fact, with the flying god claw's own mechanical strength and sharpness, even metal or rock could be easily pierced. From this could be seen just how abnormal the defense of this 1,000-year unicorn-armored beast was. No wonder it would mix in with 10,000-year spirit beasts, who would have the least bit interest in bones so difficult to gnaw. Without waiting for the unicorn-armored beast to struggle, Flender's trio exhaled simultaneously, spirit power condensing in a flash and releasing. Even though that unicorn-armored beast was astonishingly strong, controlling the flying god claws on its body were 3 spirit sage-level powers with more than 70th-ranked spirit power. How could their instantly erupting power be resisted by a 1,000-year spirit beast? The 5-meter-long body was thrown directly into the air, flipping in their direction. Grandmaster's voice echoed at this opportune moment. Its weakness is inside its mouth. Only from there can the inside of its body be injured. The armor plates on other parts of its body are half as thick as its body. Its defense is even more abnormal than some 10,000-year spirit beasts. Fortunately, it doesn't have any particular attack abilities. Grandmaster's reminder was clearly just right. Watching the unicorn-armored beast tumbling from the sky, Lu Erlong leapt up fiercely. As the slaughtering corner of the golden iron triangle, what she liked the most was this kind of opponent that could take a beating. Only this was sufficient to let her blood-reeking side come out. Zhao Wuji and Flender simultaneously withdrew their flying god claws, Flender shouting loudly, "Erlong, there are so many children here, don't make it too gory." "Got it," Lu Erlong agreed. She had already grabbed the 1,000-year unicorn-armored beast's tail with one hand, and using strength she unexpectedly whirled the entire 5-meter-long, weighing more than 1,000 jin unicorn-armored beast into the air. Hong! Everyone's eyelids unconsciously twitched simultaneously, and the spirit beasts outside the poison formation also seemed to be still for a moment as the ground shook. That unicorn-armored beast with its astonishing defense had actually been completely slammed into the ground by Lu Erlong's brute strength, only a section if its tail stuck up above the surface, held in Lu Erlong's hand. The Shrek 7 devils finally saw a smiling expression on Lu Erlong's face, and by their reckoning, this should be the smile of a demon. Even though the unicorn-armored beast had high defense, with its enormous body being thrown so heavily, even if it wasn't injured it would still be confused. Further adding that it had already breathed in the poison Dugu bow arranged in the poison formation as soon as it entered, its bodily functions were quickly dropping. Right now in Lu Erlong's hands it was as defenseless as a common animal. Lu Erlong basically didn't give it time to prepare to struggle, blazing red light blossoming from her entire body, with a smile on her face saying to everyone, "I'll bring this little fellow aside to play for a moment, you do the rest. Rongrong, cover your eyes and follow teacher." Ning Rongrong looked stupidly at Lu Erlong, her feet not shifting a single step, her face clearly displaying a dismayed expression. Lu Erlong's expression chilled. "What? You don't believe your teacher has the capability to subdue this unicorn-armored beast? That's fine too, no need to cover your eyes. Teacher will give you a class." I. When Ning Rongrong was panicked and at her wit's end, her eyes suddenly blackened as a strip of cloth stretched out from behind her, blinding her eyes. Just when she was even more panicked, Oscar's soft magnetic voice rose next to her ear. "Rongrong, don't be afraid. Teacher Erlong has good intentions. I'll go with you. With me here, nothing will happen. Teacher Erlong, can I go along? Lu Erlong glanced at Oscar, nodded and said, then come together. However, you're a man, no need to cover your eyes. Increasing your experience a bit is also good. While speaking, she once again whirled up the by now regained consciousness unicorn armored beast in her hand as it began to struggle, relying on brute force throwing the unicorn armored beast further into the poison formation, into a piece of forest to the side. Oscar pulled Ning Rongrong's hand and followed. Right now Ning Rongrong unconsciously took full advantage of Oscar's grip on her hand, clutching his hand like a life-saving rice straw. Flender helplessly shook his head. Oscar, this kid is unexpectedly so brave. Really, that Erlong, after so many years her old defects have gotten even more intense. As he spoke, his gaze floated over to Grandmaster with a rebuking light. Grandmaster didn't meet Flender's gaze, but lowered his head, what he thought of unknown. Little San, have you thought of what spirit beast you want? Me and your teacher Zhao will settle it for you. Flender loudly asked Tang San. Tang San's eyes revealed a hesitant light. To be precise, among the spirit beasts outside there were quite a few that suited him, but he chose a different spirit beast. The roads of cultivation actually had a great number of differences. Even though the fourth spirit ring wasn't as important as the third, it had a bridging effect. Once chosen, he would be unable to change his future development direction. Therefore he hesitated, not knowing just what to choose for himself. At this moment Grandmaster spoke up, pick that man-faced demon spider. It's roughly close to 6,000 years cultivation, compared to those other spirit beasts outside. Absorbing its spirit ring shouldn't be a problem. It's the same kind as the spirit beast you hunted last time, so as long as you absorb its energy you could not only empower your third spirit ring, but at the same time you might also have a fourth spirit ability for self-defense. Your external spirit bone would also improve because of absorbing a spirit beast with the same attributes. It should be your best choice at present, with enormous benefits for your strength. While saying this, Grandmaster looked at Tang San with a somewhat puzzled gaze. He had already taught Tang San enough that what he could see, Tang San clearly should also be able to see. Since it was like this, why would he still hesitate? Man-faced demon spiders were extremely rare. Because of their tyranny, they would frequently be jointly attacked by other spirit beasts. Able to reach 6,000 years of cultivation was already extraordinarily powerful. For Tang San it was bound to have superb effect. But against Grandmaster's expectations, the always unusually obedient Tang San now shook his head. I'm sorry, teacher, can you let me choose this fourth spirit ring for myself? Dean Flender, teacher Zhao, I choose that pit demon spider. What did you say? Without waiting for Flender and Zhao Wuji to react, Grandmaster already spoke up with alarm and anger, reaching Tang San's side with big steps, one hand grabbing his shoulder. Are you insane? Don't you see that's a 10,000-year spirit beast? Moreover, I'm certain that even though it's a 10,000-year level, the advantages to you are in no way greater than the man-faced demon spider. Don't forget, you have a unique external spirit bone. Strengthening it is even more important than strengthening your blue-silver grass. Hearing Tang San's choice, how couldn't Grandmaster be anxious? He clearly understood that even though this disciple of his had twin spirits, without settling the issue of his body collapsing from later excessive attributes of the second spirit, right now he was still only a blue-silver grass spirit master. Along with spirit power increasing and spirit rings adding up, this standard of waste spirits blue-silver grass would reveal more and more weaknesses. Both Dai Mabai's white tiger spirit and Ma Hongjun's phoenix spirit were no doubt first-rate spirits, and their spirit abilities would also become more and more terrifying because of their foundation. But Tang San wasn't as fortunate, and even though blue-silver grass had a powerful adaptability, it still couldn't compare to the Fire Phoenix or Evil Eye White Tiger, let alone the number 1 support spirit 7 Treasure Glazed Tile Pagoda. Among the other 6 Shrek 7 devils, any one spirit was stronger than his. If Tang San didn't possess plentiful knowledge, a cool head, as well as obtaining the man-faced demon spider's external spirit bone at the 30th rank, then right now his strength would already be far away from the others. Of course, Grandmaster never believed Tang San's hidden weapons and the poisons he studied with the poison Douluo could have any effect. In his world, as a spirit master, one's own strength was most important. Right now Grandmaster was so agitated precisely because of these reasons. The most important growth from choosing a second man-faced demon spider for his spirit ring was for his 8 spider lances. Even though Grandmaster couldn't be sure what level the 8 spider lances would grow to, the 8 spider lances was bound to increase, and would also bring up Tang San's strength. With the evolution capability of this external spirit bone, Tang San's strength wouldn't be too far behind the others. But right now, even though he couldn't say Tang San's own first choice of the pit demon spider was no good, to his future development it clearly wasn't as good as the man-faced demon spider. The pit demon spider and the man-faced demon spider were both considered top-tier existences among arachnid spirit beasts, they only walked different routes. The man-faced demon spider was widely known for its tyrannical attack power and extreme toxicity, while the pit demon spider hunted its enemy in a different fashion. Even though it wasn't as famous as the man-faced demon spider, it also wasn't as addicted to killing. But the man-faced demon spider also couldn't compare to it in hidden danger. The man-faced demon spider specialized in terror, speed, and potent attack power, but the pit demon spider was best at taking advantage of the terrain to create all sorts of traps for the opponent, relying on its special ability to ensnare its prey. Its spider thread was completely different from the man-faced demon spider. It wasn't poisonous, but could take any kind of shape. Unlike the single use of the man-faced demon spider, it was used to bury the opponent alive. In strength, the pit demon spider certainly wasn't a match for the man-faced demon spider in a frontal attack, but if it was given familiar terrain or perhaps allowed to pull open the distance, then the man-faced demon spider would certainly die. Outside the poison formation there were just one of each. That man-faced demon spider was alone outside the throng of spirit beasts, ice-cold light flickering in its little eyes, attentively watching their side. The pit demon spider clearly had a much better affinity with animals than it. Mixed in together with the other spirit beasts, its build one size smaller than the man-faced demon spider, but as long as one observed carefully one could discover that this pit demon spider should have just entered the 10,000-year level. Its body and 8 spider legs were slim, but clearly without the man-faced demon spider's kind of slender vigor, its ash-gray body not the slightest bit eye-catching among the seemingly very powerful spirit beasts. But in the vicinity of its body were some yellow filaments, that was its spider web. The way Grandmaster saw it, the reason Tang San chose the pit demon spider was no doubt because it wasn't as ruthless as the man-faced demon spider, and its spirit ring would be easier to absorb. Moreover, this pit demon spider possessed 10,000 years of cultivation. But such a choice was clearly unwise, far from as good as the result that 6,000 years man-faced demon spider could give his external spirit bone. But what Grandmaster didn't expect was that as Tang San looked at him his eyes were extremely resolute. "Teacher, please let me choose the pit demon spider. I believe, right now it should be even more useful to me." "Why? Justify it to me." The pride at the bottom of Grandmaster's heart was far from comparable to Flender, but right now looking at his always clever disciple unexpectedly disobeying him, his voice clearly grew colder. But he also wasn't an autocratic senior, therefore he wanted Tang San to tell him a reason. Tang San only spoke very simply, at once making clear his reasons for choosing the pit demon spider. "Teacher, I choose it because the Advanced Spirit Master Academy tournament is about to begin." Grandmaster first looked distracted, then immediately reacted, the ice chill at the corners of his eyes melting. Looking at the disciple in front of him, he couldn't keep a regretful light from showing in his eyes, his grip on Tang San's shoulder unconsciously tightening. "But, haven't you thought of yourself? How couldn't Tang San know the benefits of the man-faced demon spider spirit ring would be even greater? But, while choosing the man-faced demon spider spirit ring would strengthen his own 8 spider lances and spider web restraint, his 4th spirit ability would very possibly only be a support effect for his 3rd spirit ability. Without doubt, Spider web restraint was extremely powerful in restraint and complemented Tang San's hidden weapons techniques well, but it consumed too much spirit power. Even after Tang San's spirit power rose to the 40th rank, with full spirit power he could only use it 4 times. If the 4th spirit ring strengthened the 3rd, then perhaps the restraining capability would grow even stronger, but at the same time the spirit power consumption would be enormous. It would very possible become a one-use attack. This was of course no problem when facing an opponent 1 versus 1, but Tang San didn't forget that he was part of the Shrek 7 Devils, and even more the only control system spirit master among them. As the soul of the team, with the Advanced Spirit Master Academy tournament about to begin, he couldn't think only of himself, but had to consider the entire team as a whole. Even though the pit demon spider was unable to strengthen Tang San's external spirit bone like the man-faced demon spider, Tang San was certain that the pit demon spider spirit ring definitely would improve his control capability. Moreover, it could very possibly be a group control type ability. This would possess enormous benefits to a team like the Shrek 7 Devils. In a team fight there was no need to doubt the advantages of crowd control capability. In order to balance the gap in assistance to himself between the pit demon spider and man-faced demon spider, as well as far as possible not let himself fall behind the others, after careful consideration that 10,000-year pit demon spider was clearly his best choice. Grandmaster understood all this, and secretly sighed with regret. Even though Tang San's choice wasn't the best for himself, it was no doubt the most proper one. His view of the big picture already surpassed his own. Having such a selfless disciple made him feel happy on one hand, but at the same time also somewhat regretful. Teacher, perhaps, this pit demon spider will also give me a spirit bone. Tang San consoled Grandmaster in his own way. Grandmaster snorted, saying, "Little San, even though your body is already more resilient than Mabai and also have the energy from the level surpassing spirit ring, don't forget that this time you're skipping a whole 5,000 years of cultivation. Do you believe that you could successfully absorb a 10,000-year spirit beast? For the sake of the team it's even more important not to endanger yourself, do you understand? Therefore I will persist in my opinion, the man-faced demon spider is still the best choice for you." Tang San tightened his fists. "Grandmaster, believe in me, I can definitely do it. I once took 2 immortal treasure herbs at Douluo Dalu's place. These 2 herbs had a muscle developing and essence exchanging effect on my body, recreating it from the bone. My physique is even more resilient than you imagine. Moreover, right here I still have another advantage. Taking those 2 immortal treasure herbs lets me absorb the spirit ring in a special place. Thus, I have practically a 90% certainty in succeeding. Out of the question, unless it's 100%, I won't let you take the chance." This time the speaker wasn't Grandmaster, but rather Xiao Wu quietly listening to their side. Even Tang San couldn't help being startled by Xiao Wu's sudden agitation. "Xiao Wu, don't be like that. Listen, nothing will happen to me." Xiao Wu looked at Tang San, her eyes brimming with obstinacy. Absolutely out of the question. "Even if it was a 9,000-year spirit beast I would believe you could try it, but a spirit beast that has broken through 10,000 years is an entirely different concept than a 1,000-year spirit beast. There's a qualitative change from 100-year to 1,000-year, and from 1,000-year to 10,000-year is an equally qualitative change. Do you think a 10,000-year spirit beast spirit ring is so easy to absorb? First, let alone the tremendous energy strike, it'll be difficult for you to withstand just the soul shock that remains after its death when you absorb it." Soul shock? What's that? Not only Tang San, even Grandmaster was startled by Xiao Wu's words. He had never heard of a concept like soul shock. Xiao Wu calmly explained, "Soul shock is a special capability that arises after a high-level spirit beast is dead, but before its soul has dissipated. Only 10,000-year spirit beasts or above can possess it. Generally speaking, to absorb a 10,000-year spirit beast spirit ring requires at least 50th rank or above spirit power. By that time the spirit master already possesses a certain degree of functionality in all aspects, and mental strength has also matured to a certain extent. But in spite of this, you would have to be especially careful when absorbing a 10,000-year spirit ring. Besides the energy contained in the spirit ring, there's also the danger of this soul shock. To an adult, and moreover a 50th ranked spirit master, when both the body and mind has matured, the effect of such a soul shock would decrease substantially. Generally, spirit masters wouldn't suffer any harm. But little San, right now you're just 14, your body has still far from matured, and your spirit power is only 40th rank. How can you take the risk? Even if your body can endure the energy attack, if your mindscape is destroyed by the soul shock, you'll become an idiot. Understand? Listening to Xiao Wu, Grandmaster couldn't keep from drawing a cool breath. Xiao Wu, how do you know this? Xiao Wu looked distracted a moment, lowering her head. My mom told me. Soul shock, soul shock. There was a pondering light in Tang San's eyes. Xiao Wu believed she had already moved him. Gee, you said you would always protect me. That's why you can't let anything happen to you. I beg of you, listen to Grandmaster, that 6,000-year man-faced demon spider is still good. Why take the risk on a 10,000-year spirit ring? Tang San naturally wouldn't explain to Xiao Wu just what made him choose the pit demon spider, but his decision hadn't weakened because of Xiao Wu's words. If I can avert the soul shock, does that mean I can make the attempt? Originally I only had a 90% certainty, but after listening to you, I have 100% certainty instead. Tang San rubbed Xiao Wu's head, his face relaxed. Xiao Wu doubtfully looked at him. I don't believe you. Gee, you're not fooling me. Tang San asked. Did I ever cheat you? Xiao Wu subconsciously shook her head. Tang San said, Xiao Wu, you forget I ate the immortal treasure herb, full moon wearing autumn dew. With your warning, relying on purple demon eye, I have absolute certainty in making that 10,000-year spirit beast unable to cause me soul shock. I can even substantially reduce its resentment. Trust me, I won't play with my life. You're right, I still need this life to protect you in the future. Looking at Tang San, Xiao Wu suddenly smiled. Her smile was exceptionally beautiful, especially in Tang San's eyes it was even more perfect. Pulling the scorpion braid in front, Xiao Wu took a step forward, her whole body practically pasted to Tang San, gentle red lips gathering at Tang San's ear, quietly saying, Fine, then you go. Only, gee, you have to remember, if you die, then I'll accompany you. Even though her voice was very quiet, the force of the shock the sound made in Tang San's ear was comparable to Lu Erlong's explosive scene a few nights ago. Especially her last words were especially brimming with certainty. Clearly she wasn't joking. Honestly, right now Tang San's heart began to hesitate. Just like he said before, he only had a 90% certainty in absorbing the pit demon spider's spirit ring. Even if he could avert the soul shock with Xiao Wu's warning, he still only had a 90% certainty. The higher level absorption, if any uncertain element could appear and he couldn't retreat, how could it go well for Tang San? Tang San of course wasn't willing to die, and he was even more unwilling to play with his and Xiao Wu's lives. But at this moment he didn't have a better choice. Truly choosing that man-faced demon spider? No. In an eye blink he thought clearly again. He wouldn't go back on decisions he had already made. When doing something, while adequate preparation was important, equally important was confidence in success. What Xiao Wu said was equal to pushing him over the edge. Just like last time when he took the chance on absorbing the man-faced demon spider spirit ring. For Xiao Wu he could definitely endure, and even more, he still had his preparations. Thinking of this, Tang San nodded resolutely to Xiao Wu, then turned to Flender. Dean, Teacher Zhao, I'll trouble you. I want that pit demon spider. Flender sternly said. Little San, have you really thought it through? You should understand the consequences of absorbing something like it. Tang San said without the slightest hesitation. Dean, I'll definitely succeed. Don't forget, I have 2 spirits, and I still have the external spirit bone and immortal treasure herbs. What's a 10,000-year spirit beast? Well, ambitious. Then I'll wish you success. Flender saw the conviction to push forward in Tang San's eyes. He knew that it would be useless to say anything more. Even Grandmaster and Xiao Wu couldn't persuade him. Right now, not far away in the forest, boom after boom echoed constantly. Even though nobody saw it with their own eyes, they could still imagine the lamentable fate of that unicorn-armored beast. At the same time, it made everyone's resolution not to provoke Lu Erlong even stauncher. People needed to vent, and women especially so. Lu Erlong was unable to be together with the person she loved the most, making her original killing intent grow close to a frenzy. She had been born as a woman, but had never had a childhood. In order to become even stronger, in order to provide justice for her mother, she had worked hard practically without rest as a child. But the final result, before she could win success and recognition, her mother had already gone far away. Since then, slaughter had been her greatest pleasure, only seeing the blood of her enemies blossoming in her hands, seeing her enemy's life trickle down her fingers, would she feel relaxed and delighted. Afterwards, the extreme pain from the even more tragic affair between her and Grandmaster made her blood purge a spirit beast forest. The massacred place was since irredeemable. Encountering her hands, even if it was only a small evil, it would still be extinguished without chance of life. Until Flender saw her again one day, and after continuously straightening her out, Lu Erlong restrained herself somewhat. After parting with Flender, she established the Blue Tyrant Academy, cultivating her character by herself in the academy forest to restrain her killing instinct. Grandmaster appearing was both a good thing and a bad thing in Lu Erlong's opinion. What was good was that they could finally meet again, reigniting the flame of hope in Lu Erlong's heart. But at the same time, the heart she had calmed with great difficulty boiled once again, and after being rejected by Grandmaster several times, the bloodlust in her heart burst forth again, even more seriously than before. If it wasn't for Flender and Grandmaster being here, as well as these several children, perhaps her bloodlust would have expressed itself even more violently. Flender understood this, and naturally Grandmaster also understood. But right now, which of them could persuade Lu Erlong? The flying god claw flashed out like lightning, accurately landing on the pit demon spider. Perhaps it was because the unicorn-armored beast's previous experience had been seen by these powerful spirit beasts, and perhaps also because they were too intelligent. But the instant it saw the flying god claw about to grab the pit demon spider, that 10,000-year pit demon spear suddenly moved swiftly, a layer of yellow spider web shooting out from below its feet, blocking its front like a shield. With two poo-poo sounds, the flying god claws grabbed the spider web. Flender and Zhao Wuji hurriedly controlled the god claw to fly back, but making him not know whether to laugh or cry. At the same time as the claws flew back, so did a massive yellow spider web. Using one phrase to describe their current circumstances, it would be, walking right into the trap. The 10,000-year pit demon spider was even more devious than everyone had imagined, not only sending back a spider web with the flying god claws, but at the same time that pit demon spider retreated extremely quickly, dodging behind a large spirit beast, and moreover running swiftly towards the forest. It moved quickly, not a bit inferior to the man-faced demon spider. Volume 13. The Fourth Spirit Ability. Chapter 87. 10,000-Year Pit Demon Spider. Fatty. Tang San calmly called out. Flame blossomed, great puffs of phoenix flame engulfing Flender and Zhao Wuji, the spider web on the flying god claws immediately turning to ash. Fatty's high-temperature phoenix flame was the perfect nemesis for this kind of spider web. Although in strength he was far inferior to the pit demon spider, the phoenix flame still wasn't something the spider web the pit demon spider had hurriedly sent out could resist. Flender and Zhao Wuji were both furious, two spirit sages being toyed with by a just 10,000-year spirit beast, and in front of their students as well. This was absolutely a loss of face. Flender grinned angrily. Want to run? It won't be that easy. A resonant eagle cry echoed to the horizon. The Shrek 7 devils only saw Flender leap up, instantly huddling up, floating in the air above Zhao Wuji's arms. The next moment his body already shot out like a cannonball, thrown out with all of Zhao Wuji's strength. In the blink of an eye he had already flown out of the poison formation's range, passing over the heads of those formidable spirit beasts, and in another blink he was overhead of that slippery pit demon spider. In order to catch it, right now 7 spirit rings flickered around Flender in midair, his body changing into an enormous owl with a 5-meter wingspan. Unexpectedly he used his 7th spirit ability, Owl Avatar. The owl had the keenest strength, capable of seeing minute details at night, its ability to pounce and catch prey from the air not the slightest bit inferior to the goshawk. Watching Flender drop from the sky, sharp claws stretching out below, grabbing straight at the pit demon spider. Before they had even touched, his enormous spirit power pressure made the swiftly escaping pit demon spider shudder uncontrollably. What spirit beast would save another? Let alone when the pit demon spider was running away so swiftly, already having pulled open the distance to those spirit beasts outside the poison formation. In order to distract the spirit beasts from interfering with Flender catching the pit demon spider, right now Tang San had taken out the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure and handed it over to Xiao Wu at his side. The muted fragrance immediately drew the gazes of those spirit beasts outside, each and every one drooling, staring rigidly. Even though the aromatic silk beauty immortal treasure was good, life was more important. Tang San had Xiao Wu stand just where it wouldn't envelop the poison formation, so the spirit beasts couldn't take advantage of its anti-toxic effects. With the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure handed over to Xiao Wu, Tang San used the same method Flender did, getting thrown out by Zhao Wuji. He of course wasn't worried Flender couldn't deal with that pit demon spider, only with his help and his control capability, capturing it could only become even easier. After all, the crowd of spirit beasts outside the poison formation weren't vegetarians, and even with the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure there to draw their attention, it still couldn't be guaranteed not to get involved. If they let the pit demon spider get away, then finding another suitable one definitely wouldn't be so easy. In a moment the pit demon spider was unable to even dodge the pouncing Flender when faced with the tyrannical pressure. Even Tang San, who came soaring out of the poison formation soon after, believed Flender would succeed. But it was also at this moment that the pit demon spider revealed its devious side. A yellow spider web suddenly sprayed out behind it, going straight for Flender. At the same time 2 yellow spider threads stretched out forward like lightning, twisting around a large tree 10 meters away, using strength to pull made the pit demon spider immediately change direction. Flender beat his wings, a blast of wind blowing away the spider web, but with this brief delay his attack had already come to nothing. And at the moment Flender approached the ground, with a flash of yellow light, countless spider threads rushed out from underground, swiftly enveloping him, holding Flender within like a prison made out of spider web. Compared to the man-faced demon spider, the pit demon spider's spider thread was a bit thicker, and even though it wasn't poisonous, its durability exceeded that of the man-faced demon spider's spider thread. Moreover, a thick liquid adhered to it, and the instant it came into contact with the air, the spider web hardened like steel, becoming a true spider cage. This was precisely the pit demon spider's devious ability, spider web prison. As long as the pit demon spider had passed over the location once it could hide its spider thread in the ground, and this kind of spider thread could be controlled by its mental strength. As long as the enemy stepped into the range of this trap it would launch immediately, relying on its special spider thread characteristics to form a cage around the enemy. If the enemy was weak it would take advantage of it and attack, and if the enemy was strong it could take advantage of this ability to gain time to escape. As a result of the spider web prison launching without any warning or energy fluctuations, it was possible for even stronger enemies to fall into the trap. Unfortunately, the enemy this pit demon spider had come across was the 78th ranked spirit power spirit sage Flender. Seeing he was caught in a trap, Flender immediately revealed his strength. A layer of pale yellow light released from his owl avatar form. Immediately afterward the light spread in a flash, as if a sun was trapped within the spider web prison. and an ear-piercing friction sound resounded, and crack after crack spread over the spider web prison. In just a few breaths, that spider web prison burst into a fine powder. Flender wouldn't give the pit demon spider the chance for a second plot. Both wings unfolding, he flew directly into the air. Even though the spider web prison was sinister, it required the ground or a substantial foundation to work, a bit like Tang San's second spirit ring ability Parasite, but it was also more tyrannical than Parasite. But now that Flender flew into the air, clearly he wasn't afraid of this ability. As Flender once again flew into the air, he was secretly alarmed, because that pit demon spider was even faster than he imagined. In the moment he had spent breaking out of the spider web prison, that fellow had already vanished without a trace in the forest, not even leaving a hint of its aura. This was precisely the other ability of the pit demon spider, concealment. It wasn't an ability to hide, but rather relying on its control of its own aura to completely restrain it, making it even easier to hide to ambush the opponent or escape. Having lost track of the pit demon spider, Flender couldn't help being angry. A sharp light at the tips of his wings, about to unleash it on this piece of forest. Dean, no need for that. It's on this side. At this time Tang San's voice came from ahead. With Flender's speed of reaction, opening up, he swiftly chased after the voice, just in time to see the 8 spider lances on Tang San's back releasing to catch him. Not far in front, that pit demon spider was struggling with all its strength in Tang San's spider web, in a moment already tearing open a gap. Originally the pit demon spider had caught Flender in the spider web prison, but following close behind him, Tang San had calmly chased after it. Relying on his keen judgment, the moment Flender was trapped in the spider web prison, Tang San had quickly used the peculiar mental attack of the purple demon eye, making the fleeing pit demon spider mind dizzy, sinking into a brief stunned condition. You can use abilities, don't tell me I can't. Spider web restraint accurately hit the pit demon spider, and this time, Tang San's spider web held intense poison. As a result, despite the pit demon spider's 10,000-year cultivation, as it struggled, its mind was affected by intense pain from the neurological poison that covered its whole body, while the corrosive poison eroded its carapace. The speed with which it threw off the spider web immediately slowed, winning enough time for Flender to arrive. Flender smiled in spite of his anger. What a cunning thing, if I let you run again, then I'm not called the four-eyed owl. A resonant eagle cry echoed with fury as Flender dropped from the sky. Both his wings beat twice in midair, sharp rays of light left 4 deep scores in the ground, just right to crowd the pit demon spider in between. The 10-meter deep ravines left its location completely isolated. Right now the pit demon spider had with great difficulty freed itself from Tang San's spider web restraint, the sharp pain making it panic even more, but the sharp energy suddenly erupting right next to it made it flinch back, and at this moment Flender also dropped from the sky. Pooh! Yet again a yellow spider web flew up from below the pit demon spider's feet, but this time it wasn't an attack at Flender, but rather enveloping itself in that spider web prison. With a sonorous striking noise, Flender's sharp claws tore up the cage, but taking advantage of his speed slowing down, the pit demon spider leapt directly into the ravine in front of it. This pit demon spider's name wasn't in vain. Among arachnid spirit beasts it was the only one that dug holes. Its 8 spider legs wouldn't appear as powerful as the man-faced demon spider, but its 2 front legs were especially robust and sharp, and if it hadn't been chased too closely before, it would have already looked for an opportunity to drill a way through the ground. Right now it was faced with the ravines made by Flender, and it took advantage of just these to run away. I won't let you. The flying god claw shot down from the sky, accurately grabbing the pit demon spider's back carapace. It was powerful, and even though Tang San urged his full spirit power after releasing the flying god claw, he was still rapidly pulled forward. The spider web prison only stopped Flender briefly, and with Tang San delaying it, the pit demon spider lost its last chance to escape. A massive claw firmly gripped the back of its carapace, and even though it couldn't directly penetrate the carapace, it could still drag back the rigid pit demon spider. "Come up, little San, let's go back," Flender shouted. The 8 spider lances on Tang San's back bent and straightened, throwing him into the air to land on the back of the owl-incarnated Flender. Carrying Tang San on his back, claws gripping the pit demon spider, Flender's wings beat fiercely, once sending him into the air. This time, even if the pit demon spider was even more cunning, it still wouldn't have had any chance. The acute spirit power transmitted into its body from the claws paralyzed it completely, making it unable to use any more abilities. Tang San and Flender flew out of the forest, and with a few beats of Flender's wings they had already reached the poison formation. Flender shifted his wings, and they slowly descended towards the ground. By now Lu Erlong and Oscar had already returned. Ning Rongrong wasn't here. Clearly she was absorbing the unicorn-armored beast's spirit ring in the forest. Oscar's complexion seemed very unsightly, white as a sheet of paper, and even somewhat green. There were some stains left over at the corner of his mouth. Evidently he had vomited heavily. Lu Erlong didn't give the impression of anything being wrong, and standing with her hands behind her back she looked at Flender dropping from the sky with the pit demon spider in his claws. At this moment Tang San suddenly shouted, "Xiao Wu, watch out." As a result of Flender dropping from the sky with Tang San on his back, and the spirit beasts outside not daring to enter the poison formation, right now everyone's eyes were on the two of them. But at this moment a sinister silhouette entered the poison formation from the side, swiftly pouncing towards Xiao Wu. The place it attacked from was extremely crafty, just in a blind spot for everyone, but just right to be caught by Tang San on Flender's back. This sudden attack wasn't launched by a stranger, but precisely the man-faced demon spider Tang San and Grandmaster had paid attention to before. This 6,000-year or so cultivated man-faced demon spider had constantly waited for its chance. It could of course sense the strength of those humans in the poison formation, and the moment Flender and Tang San dropping from the sky drew their attention, it got the perfect moment to strike. As one of the peak poison attribute spirit beasts, and with 6,000 years of cultivation, even though the poison Douluo's poison formation held a certain danger to it, it wasn't to the extent of being fatal. Relying on its poison-resisting physique, this man-faced demon spider had confidence in surviving in the poison formation, and with the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure, leaving the poison formation didn't pose any problem. Therefore it chose this moment to mount a sneak attack the other spirit beasts didn't dare attempt. The place the man-faced demon spider chose was closest to Xiao Wu. Right now, the strongest in the Shrek Academy party, Flender, was in the air. Lu Erlong was also standing together with Zhao Wuji furthest away from Xiao Wu. Dai Mabai had gone to help protect Zhu Zhuqing while she absorbed the Phantom Tiger's spirit ring. Oscar also stood next to Lu Erlong. Closest to Xiao Wu were only Grandmaster and Ma Hongjun. The first to react was unexpectedly Grandmaster. In a flicker he already blocked in front of Xiao Wu, Luo San power releasing. The figure soaring directly into the air and turning, a farting noise echoing towards the charging opponent. Precisely that, fart like thunder, shake the heavens and split the earth Luo San power. Although Luo San power already had 3 spirit rings, and Grandmaster's spirit power had also reached the 35th rank, compared to a 6,000-year cultivation man-faced demon spider, the strength gap was still too large. That smelly attack only made the man-faced demon spider slow its advance, and it kept dashing at Grandmaster and Xiao Wu as if it basically didn't smell the stench of that fart, one forelimb swinging to and fro, whipping out to strike Luo San Pao from the air. If it wasn't for the man-faced demon spider already having entered the range of the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure, the poison supplemented to its spider legs would have been enough to leave Luo San Pao barely alive. Another 3 limbs stretched forward simultaneously, the legs sharp like spear tips thrusting straight at Grandmaster's chest. Its target was of course not only Grandmaster, but at the same time Xiao Wu behind him, and with the length of its spider legs it completely held the capability of piercing both of them together. Pooh! A dazzling red column of flame shot out from the side, heavily bombarding the man-faced demon spider. The flames adhered directly to it, issuing an unpleasant stink. Fatty in impatience was unable to launch more powerful spirit abilities, and could only spit out the Phoenix Firewire to injure the opponent as much as possible. Originally a 2,000-year man-faced demon spider put Tang San at risk of dying, to say nothing of this 6,000-year existence in front of them. Even a 10,000-year spirit beast wouldn't easily want to provoke this butcher. The man-faced demon spider's ice-cold little eyes didn't reveal any emotions over Fatty's attack, and was still so sinister and unfeeling, as if its body wasn't burning at all. The position its spider legs aimed for didn't vary in the slightest, still thrusting at Grandmaster's chest. With a flicker of light and shadow, Xiao Wu quietly appeared in front of Grandmaster. Her one hand borrowed leverage by pushing at Grandmaster's shoulder, both legs flying out simultaneously, accurately kicking below two of those spider legs. The man-faced demon spider's legs rose slightly, practically brushing the top of her head. In order to fight for time, Xiao Wu couldn't help the mental backlash she would suffer, and the light of demon confusion stung the little eyes on the man-faced demon spider's abdomen, making it delay for a short moment. At the same time, Xiao Wu once again stepped on the man-faced demon spider's legs, using the rebound as leverage to forcefully push away Grandmaster behind her, just right to meet the hastily dashing over Lu Erlong. At this very moment, the man-faced demon spider and Xiao Wu were practically pasted to each other while attacking. Grandmaster had been pushed away from the danger zone, Fatty's spirit power had just now congregated, and the others basically didn't have enough time to strike away that man-faced demon spider. In an instant, Tang San's heart had already leapt into his throat. Nobody understood the terror of the man-faced demon spider more clearly than him. At that time, if it wasn't for him acting when least expected and the potency of the godly Zhuge crossbow, he would already have died in the Stardew Great Forest. The pain absorbing the man-faced demon spider gave him he would never forget for a lifetime. Right now, Xiao Wu and the man-faced demon spider in close combat, that was a 6,000-year butcher, and Xiao Wu had the weakest spirit power among the Shrek 7 devils. Each of the 6,000-year man-faced demon spider's legs had orderly rows of small barbs, and even though the toxin on its body was unable to cause any harm to Xiao Wu under the effect of the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure, if it pierced Xiao Wu's skin, the toxin would still spread through her veins. That was in no way something Xiao Wu could resist. Moreover, just because of these barbs, Xiao Wu didn't dare use her soft skill on the man-faced demon spider. The use of teleportation had a cooldown period. Xiao Wu had used it once just now, and right now in close combat with the man-faced demon spider she couldn't rely on it to dodge again. The only thing she could do was endure until her companions arrived to help her. The man-faced demon spider was clearly completely infuriated, its rear legs propping it up, its four lance-like forelegs thrust at Xiao Wu from four different directions, deathly pale light erupting from its body. This time, it clearly used its full strength. Just the opposite from Xiao Wu, the man-faced demon spider's only chance was to take advantage of nobody else having reached attack range to grab the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure and escape. It had seen with its own eyes what happened to the unicorn armored beast and the pit demon spider, so how couldn't it know how frightening these humans in front of it were? Xiao Wu moved extremely quickly, and also had abundant combat experience. When doing her utmost she wouldn't stint on her spirit power in any way, and pouring strength into her legs, while escaping danger by a hair's breadth, she kicked out 4 times, separately striking the weakest points of each of those 4 stinging spider legs. She knew that as long as she was able to get out of this attack, the help of her comrades would arrive. The moment Xiao Wu's legs kicked at the 4 spider leg pikes with full strength, her heart was already ice cold. That instant, she clearly felt that her kicks at those spider legs was like a butterfly shaking a stone tower, fundamentally unable to alter their attack power, and even more unable to change the direction. Xiao Wu after all only had 37th ranked spirit power. The gap to the 6,000-year man-faced demon spider attacking with all its strength, the gap was really too large. The little eyes under the man-faced demon spider's abdomen revealed a malevolent light. It had long ago planned ahead. As long as it could kill this human girl in front of it and snatch the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure, it would immediately spray out several spider webs at the people around to obstruct their attacks. In speed, relying on those 4-meter-long spider legs, its running speed wasn't something the pit demon spider could compare to. When Xiao Wu's for kicks accurately struck the spider legs, all the Shrek Academy group almost cheered, but as they saw those 4 spider legs didn't change direction, their hearts went completely cold. In this extreme crisis, Xiao Wu could only curl up as much as possible, making herself the smallest possible target. However, even if she curled up even more, it would still be impossible to evade all the attacks. The man-faced demon spider's 4 spider lances perfectly sealed all her possible routes of escape. 3 spider lances thrust past, practically pasted to Xiao Wu's body, but that final spider leg in the end couldn't be dodged, and ruthlessly ran into Xiao Wu's chest. Instantly, everyone's brains blanked out. Even though the piercing blow should hit the right side of Xiao Wu's chest, how powerful was the man-faced demon spider's poison? Xiao Wu would inevitably be run through, and such an injury combined with the man-faced demon spider's poison wasn't something Xiao Wu could possibly survive. Everything happened too fast, it was practically hard to catch it with the naked eye. Xiao Wu's body was directly flung away close to 20 meters by the spider leg, but her hand still tightly gripped that fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure, refusing to let go no matter what. As Xiao Wu was flung away, the man-faced demon spider seemed to stare blankly a moment. Even though its goal in attacking Xiao Wu was attained, it still hadn't obtained the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure. Go die. Fatty, who was closest, was the first to erupt. His phoenix ascension had now finally finished coalescing, and he struck that man-faced demon spider with all his strength and burning hot flame in the side. At the same time, having caught Grandmaster, Lu Erlong's eyes turned scarlet. Xiao Wu had pushed away Grandmaster while in a crisis herself, separating him from danger. Just this point made Lu Erlong full of gratitude towards her. Seeing her without a chance to survive under the man-faced demon spider's attack made the ruthlessness in Lu Erlong's heart practically reach a new peak. With a close to frenzied dragon's roar, her whole body emitted flames that directly formed into an enormous fire dragon, chasing after the phoenix ascension to strike away the man-faced demon spider several meters, swallowing it up in a flash. The 6,000-year cultivation man-faced demon spider struggled in the dragon-shaped flame, but it was still unable to escape the tyrannical gravity within the flame. Fire in itself possessed a restraining effect on poisonous things. Whether it was Fatty's phoenix flame or Lu Erlong's dragon flame, they were both among the most potent existences among flames. Fatty's flame possessed the even more powerful adherence property that was comparatively insidious, but Lu Erlong's dragon flame only possessed one property, explosiveness. Under the simultaneous effect of these two kinds of flame, even the man-faced demon spider's solid outer shell softened, its entire body trembling violently. The third to reach it wasn't the flying Flender, but rather Tang San, who dropped like a stone from the sky. Seeing Xiao Wu in danger, Tang San leapt from Flender's back at the same time as he shouted. Blue-silver grass condensed into wing shapes in midair, sending him gliding in that direction. Unfortunately, all that was really far too late. Even if he used all his power, he still couldn't reach the man-faced demon spider before it speared Xiao Wu. Watching Xiao Wu flung away, Tang San's heart instantly froze like a 10,000-year glacier, as if it had already stopped beating, and he was even unable to breathe. Looking at the conflagration below, his gaze was completely lifeless, and just like a moth drawn to flame, he still fell downwards. Get out of the way, do you want to die? Lu Erlong was shocked. She was only too clear on just how potent her dragon flame was, and even though Tang San could glide with the blue-silver grass wings on his back, he still fell downwards. Everyone understood Tang San's place in Grandmaster's heart, and Lu Erlong naturally wouldn't want him to destroy his life in her dragon flame like this. But Tang San didn't even seem to hear anything, and still dropped towards the man-faced demon spider. Helplessly, Lu Erlong had no choice but to stop sending out her dragon flame, but despite this, that dragon-shaped flame wasn't extinguished immediately. The 8 spider lances on Tang San's back thrust through the top of the dragon flame, and from the point of view of everyone, right now he seemed to be lying on his stomach on the back of the man-faced demon spider. The 8 spider lances were sharp, and right now that man-faced demon spider's carapace had been further softened by the heat of the phoenix flame and dragon flame. In an instant, 8 spider lances had pierced into the man-faced demon spider's carapace, the front half entering completely as white and red luster rose from Tang San. Strangely, Lu Erlong's tyrannical dragon flame was unable to enter within a 1 chi range of Tang San's body. The instant the 8 spider lances entered its body, that man-faced demon spider shuddered violently, and seemed as if its entire body had frozen. Immediately afterward, it no longer struggled, but started to tremble quickly. The 8 spider lances Tang San had stuck into its body began to turn pale white, as if pulse after pulse of light was constantly drawn into Tang San's body via the 8 spider lances. Nobody knew what was going on, and since Tang San lay prostrated, everyone was unable to see his facial expression. But with Xiao Wu's survival unknown, they could understand the suffering in Tang San's heart. Lu Erlong wanted to rush over and pull Tang San away, but was caught up to and stopped by Grandmaster. "He's all right, help Xiao Wu first." Grandmaster knew something of 8 spider lances' drain capability, further adding that the man-faced demon spider was left barely alive after Lu Erlong's dragon flame, and that Tang San's 8 spider lances had already pierced its vitals. This 6,000-year man-faced demon spider was essentially incapable of resisting further. Oscar had already dashed over to Xiao Wu's side, and while running he had already finished summoning a small sausage and a large sausage. After falling, Xiao Wu's body hadn't stirred, and he hastily but cautiously supported her back. Mouthful after mouthful of blood flowed from Xiao Wu's mouth, but what astonished Oscar was that there wasn't a trace of blood on her chest. Xiao Wu, how are you?" Oscar rocked Xiao Wu gently. Right now he also didn't have any means of getting Xiao Wu to eat his big sausage. By now Flender had also reached Xiao Wu's side, and grabbing one of her hands he pressed at her wrist, slowly infusing his own spirit power into Xiao Wu. "Yi," Flender's face very quickly revealed bewilderment. "Why is it like this?" Oscar's heart tightened. The Shrek 7 devils had been together so long that the feelings between each other were profound. Never mind Xiao Wu being Tang San's little sister, their friendship alone made him extremely anxious about Xiao Wu. "Dean, can Xiao Wu still be saved?" A smiling expression suddenly appeared on Flender's face. Pulling up Xiao Wu, he turned her over and gave her back 7 quick slaps. With a vomiting sound, Xiao Wu once again spouted out a mouthful of purple-black blood. Supported in Flender's hands, she unexpectedly slowly opened her eyes. What's going on?" Oscar looked dumbstruck at all this. He was unable to understand how Xiao Wu still wasn't dead after that powerful blow from the man-faced demon spider. When he first ran over, he was with the expectation that heaven didn't listen to the plans of humans. But now it seemed that, although Xiao Wu's complexion was pale, it was far from the expectations everyone had before. Flender said, "She's all right, she only stopped breathing just now, that's all." "Xiao Wu, how do you feel?" While speaking, he slowly infused his spirit power into Xiao Wu, helping her calm her energy and pacify the roiling qi and blood. Xiao Wu's voice was somewhat hoarse. "My chest is very tight, a bit constricted. Otherwise nothing. Don't worry, I won't die." While speaking, Xiao Wu slowly stretched a hand into her chest, and under Flender and Oscar's attentive gazes, a brightly colored flower appeared in her hand. Precisely that yearning heartbroken red. Originally, when Xiao Wu saw she was unable to dodge the man-faced demon spider's attack, she curled up as far as possible. When she was finally still sent flying by a spider lance, that spider lance fortunately struck precisely the yearning heartbroken red at her chest. Before the yearning heartbroken red recognized its master, it couldn't be plucked with force, and after it recognized Xiao Wu, it gained even more unbreakable properties, more durable than anything. Even though the man-faced demon spider's attack was powerful, it still couldn't pierce this bizarre immortal treasure flower. Otherwise Xiao Wu wouldn't be flung away, but rather directly run through, and the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure in her hand would naturally also end up in the man-faced demon spider's grasp. Even Xiao Wu hadn't expected that her life would actually be saved by her tenderness keeping her from eating the fantastic immortal treasure. Under the assistance of Flender's spirit power, Xiao Wu with difficulty roused her mind. After eating one of Oscar's big recovery sausages, her mind was immediately much better. Now she also noticed Tang San and that man-faced demon spider, and instantly changed color. He, Grandmaster and the others also finally noticed the circumstances on Xiao Wu's side, and they all understood Xiao Wu's circumstances. Grandmaster said, "Nothing will be wrong with little San. If I'm not mistaken, right now his 8 spider lances are ending the life of that man-faced demon spider. I only don't know if he's prepared to absorb this spirit beast spirit ring, or if he still insists on that pit demon spider." That treacherous pit demon spider had been thrown to the side by Flender. Right now it lay on its back facing upward. Flender knew it was cunning and had chopped off its legs, leaving it unable to run. Perhaps it was because Lu Erlong's dragon flame was too terrifying, but the spirit beasts outside of the poison formation had for the most part withdrawn. Only a few especially powerful ones still watched the fragrant silk beauty immortal treasure in Xiao Wu's hand. "Little San, Xiao Wu is all right," Flender shouted in Tang San's direction. Flender's judgment here was extremely correct. Hearing the 2 words, Xiao Wu, Tang San slowly raised his head from the man-faced demon spider's back, and everyone discovered that at some point his eyes had turned completely red. Within the red light roamed a purple radiance.